A Nigerian financial analyst, Eze Onyekbere, has condemned the National Assembly for the late passage of the 2017 budget. The legislative arm of government passed the budget last week, which is more than a week after the expiration of the 2016 budget. Now, in an exclusive chat with TV 360, Onyekbere slammed the decision to pass the budget in May this year, saying it will only pull back the country's economy.
It's a better than never situation that we have, because this budget has been with the National Assembly for the past 5 months, since the 14th of December 2016. So it is coming very late, and you know that it's not just a done deal, because it will still be sent to the acting president, who may have to vet it, and if he has any disagreement with any of these provisions, may likely return it to the National Assembly. So before this budget becomes law, is signed, and we start implementation, we may be talking about the end of this month. So what has happened so far is not a best practice. So what we have is like a continuation of the norm, the way we've been budgeting. Because if you look at it, it's not just even the figures that we have here that is the issue, but actual implementation at the end of the day. Because if you look at the revenue framework, the proposal of how we're going to get money, we see a benchmark price of about 44.5, which is quite close to the prevalent market price of crude oil, which is about 50 now in the international market. At some point, it even came down to almost 45. So you also see a situation that we are not yet at 2.2 million barrels a day. We are still doing under about under 2.2. I understand we are doing about between 1.9 and 2 million. So that means we may not even meet the benchmark rate, and we may not realize the revenue we are expecting. Even the money we're expecting from VAT, from CIT, and from other sources, we are not too sure if you look at the prevalent economic indicators and the economic reality of the country. So that may mean an increase to the 2.35 trillion deficit that we propose. And also, if you look back at the debt service, we are talking of using about 36% of our retained and expected revenue to service debts. And if you compare this with the capital expenditure of about 10 key ministries like power, works and housing, solid minerals, education, health, defense, interior, you aggregate them, you see that 10 of them are just roughly about 72% of the money we are voting for capital expenditure. And if you look at capital expenditure versus debt servicing is about 80-something% in terms of money voted for it. So this shows you the opportunities lost and what we are losing by borrowing so much as we borrowed in the past, and particularly considering that we don't have much to show in terms of the investments, infrastructure, or even human capital development, where those borrowed monies were invested. So this is a huge challenge, and we're also trying to increase the debt by having a deficit of 2.35 trillion for the year which we are currently on the 5th month. So that's a huge challenge for the budget. And also the whole idea that we are premising the exchange rate at 305 to 1, when everybody knows that nobody gets dollar at that rate, is about 380 in the open market. So this is still a fixation which leaves the country with multiple exchange rates, and the earlier that they are converged, and the earlier we tell ourselves the truth in budgeting and planning, the better for the country.